There we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the end of 2023. What a year it has been. This is Cloudy County, our land grant slash extension focus community where we talk about all the cool things that are going on in the Microsoft cloud. I'm here with Joe, Microsoft MVP, big dog, to help me go through some updates from this year's big time Microsoft conference known as Microsoft Ignite. Joe and I, there's a lot of content, and a lot of that content started with the word Copilot. And so we're going to break down and distill some of that news, some of the things that were talked about at Ignite or around the same time as Ignite. And that is the focus of today's episode. It's going to be pretty chill. It's the end of the year. We're all tired. Let's be real. Um, we are going to go short on the news, so we're going to go through that pretty quickly. And the reason why is because since I have some of you here as like test subjects, uh, surprise, you're all going to be guinea pigs. We are
Everybody's
going
going to get an
to,
A, though. No
yeah,
worries. It's a
everybody
quiz.
passes. Yeah, you all pass. We're going to ask some questions around ideas that we've had on how we might want to change the way we meet and the way we talk in 2024. So we have some ideas. We don't really feel like those need to be on YouTube on the recording, so I'll turn the recording off and we all just kind of have a little discussion for 20 minutes or so, and we'll bounce some of the ideas that we have had off of you, see what you think, see if you like it, if you don't like it. Our objective is always to to be useful. We just want to be useful. That's all. So helpful. um, but with that, Joe, we've got four main takeaways from Ignite we're going to cover, right? What do we got?
Yeah, we've got some stuff that we want to cover. I'm going to get some sharing started here. And these are some things we want you to be aware of, some things that were started in kind of coming through Ignite and have boiling up for us, especially in EDU space. And first one here is understanding that we've been talking a little bit about new teams and the new teams application and the new team service and what's happening there around some timelines in education. So for us on the call, we've got education tenants, Microsoft controlled tenants. Basically, if your organization is allowing Microsoft to choose the dates that the new Teams client is going to get released and set as a default for all of us, that's going to happen right on the second of the year. That's coming up fast. Um, Curious if any of you are using new Teams now. That would be interesting to see. Um, Let us know in the chat. And coming up in March 31st, everyone's going to get forced over to new teams if you've had to switch back to the classic team. So just those are some important dates that are coming up. You may in your org already switched over. Maybe you're on new teams. Depends on what your organization has chosen for you. If they haven't and are running Microsoft controlled, if we think many are, then we're looking at January 2nd for that to pop up on you when you open up Teams after that date.
There are on the admin documents, there are some troubleshooting notes which are important. If you don't see the toggle for using new teams, like switch me over to new teams, there are some policies and some troubleshooting guides on there for the IT folks to take a peek at and see if those will get around that, whatever that issue is. There's some policies and stuff and nerdy things that happen that can potentially block the ability to move to new teams. Um, the there's a few options that the admins have to configure to decide when or if you're going to get new teams. And the timeline there that's on the screen for January 2nd will apply to you if your admins have left the update policies alone. They haven't changed anything. and they're set to what we call Microsoft controlled. You may have seen a red banner inside of your Teams client that says your organization is going to move you to Teams in January. If you see that red banner, that is indicates that the policy is at the default setting of Microsoft controlled. But regardless of what they set, like Joe said, that second date, that's the big one. That is the one where effectively classic teams is being retired in a sense because everyone is being moved over to new teams. And sometimes upgrades, there's anxiety around it, and honestly, this has been coming for a long time, and the groundwork for it has been laid out for a long time. The way that the new Teams client gets pushed out to people's computers, there's lots of options for it, so it may already be on your computer at this time. It is faster. It uses less memory. And we talked a month or two ago about some use cases specific to extension that we thought are huge wins for extension agents. And that is whether you are running two accounts, maybe one through your university and one through your county. The new team supports more than one account at the same time. I'm doing that right now. I am. Joe and I were just talking before this call about how nice it is that we don't have to like completely sign out of Teams and sign back in or switch over to another computer. It's a headache. And I feel like that's a common headache for extension agents because you have that dual identity thing going on. Or if you've been added as a guest, right? Your state university has a team in it and it added your county account as a guest. Same kind of thing applies. You can see what's going on without having to completely switch teams around and flip things upside down. And so yeah, this is I don't want anybody to be worried about this. This is a good thing. it's it's a big upgrade. And by upgrade I mean like features, like better. So I'm all for it. Obviously,
Yeah,
completely
I dropped
unbiased.
some links there into the chat. One of them is known issues. You might want to look at that.
Mhm.
There's slowly working through a few of them that I've seen some pet spell check issues recently that seems to have been cleared up. But just in case there's something in there, we've dropped a link in there for that too. And it looks like we got some good responses out of six
Wow.
people that responded to our poll. If you're using new teams, you're using new teams. So that's great.
I could tell that some of you are because when you joined this call, it switched you to your guest account in our tenant. So you bypassed the lobby and came straight into the meeting. So uh
Got in early.
yep.
Next thing I want to call out is just one little feature update here around shortcuts and shortcuts to files versus syncing an entire document library or syncing an entire team. You have the ability to create shortcuts. Shortcuts are great. They link you to the content in a team or SharePoint site right inside of your OneDrive, which means that OneDrive follows you around wherever you go. You sign on a new computer, sign on a browser somewhere where those shortcuts live in your OneDrive, but they get you access to content easily that's outside of your OneDrive. Something that's new is the ability to shortcut to a single file instead of an entire document library or entire folder. So if you've got a team you're in and you've got some important file that you care about, and there's just one file in there you want, but you want it more easily accessible, you've got a few options. One of them now is you can create a shortcut just to that file. You can add that to My Files. Do demo PowerPoint here. Going to add that to My Files. And I switch over to what's now is the new OneDrive app, which you might start seeing rolling out instead of files in Teams. Is if I go into My Files, um, I should see a shortcut now right here to that individual file. I don't have to bring in a bunch of files or an entire team. I can if I want to still. I've got a couple up here at the top that are shortcuts to other entire channels and teams. But if you just need a file, you can do that now. And the next thing we want to talk about is, let's throw that word out there, Copilot. So how many different ways can we do that? We're going to be seeing some rebranding here. So if we just go out to bing.com, this is something we're used to. We've talked about bing.com/chat. Still bing.com. It's still Bing Chat, Bing Enterprise. But we're going to start seeing in other places some rebranding. We can access Bing Chat through URL like that. If you're in Chrome, I'm sorry, Edge browser, you can bring up the sidebar here that gives you also access to Bing Chat Enterprise. I have a little icon up here that we can turn that on and off. But we also now have some places we're going to start seeing Copilot. And what we're talking about here, Bing Chat Enterprise, this is being rebranded to Microsoft Copilot. Microsoft Copilot, just two words there. That's important. We can get to Microsoft Copilot by copilot@microsoft.com. See it here. You can also, if you're on Windows 11, soon Windows 10, you can actually access that now also in your Windows client. And here where we can start to see some of the rebranding happening. Copilot with Bing Chat Enterprise. So we're starting to see that finally flow through, and I think we'll continue to see that take on that renaming throughout the rest of that service that we have access to. Joanne, you want to kind of talk about the other Copilot just because the naming is so close?
Yeah, yeah, we didn't confuse anybody with all of this. So Copilot is a brand, I guess, in a sense now, because there are co-pilots for various applications. Um, the two main ones, like Joe just showed, is Microsoft Copilot is the one that we just showed you last month, previously known as Bing Chat Enterprise. It is included with your faculty A3 and A5 licensing from your university, and it is access to a very, very powerful large language model, AI interface that does some pretty amazing things. We tried to show some cool demos last month, so if you missed that, it's on our YouTube channel. But Joe, I'm going to share my screen right quick
Okay.
because I want to show one thing that I just learned related to this. So as Joe was saying, the icon has been changed up here, so it now uses the Copilot icon. You can still get to Bing Chat Enterprise using bing.com/chat, but there's a new entry point as well that's going to start to be more prominent, copilot.microsoft.com. And that will take you to a familiar interface that now has all the branding, like Joe was just showing, as well as it says with Bing is kind of still mentioned in there. So yeah, the sidebar rebranded when you click into your settings. We showed last month how to go into the sidebar and settings and enter into Copilot settings and make sure that you turn on the ability for it to access your page content. Joe did a really cool demo that went through some Master Gardener documentation, and he used multiple pages from that site to have it generate a flyer to call, a call for volunteers. We need more master gardeners. Here are some great, resources and points, and the what a master gardener is and why you'd want to be one. All using this tool, which is really readily available. One thing that I just learned it can do is I didn't know this. If you have a YouTube video up, you can, without even watching the video, have it summarize the video for you. So I'm just going to say summarize this video into the top 5 takeaways. And notice I haven't clicked play on it. I haven't watched it. It's sitting at 3 seconds in. I paused it. So this is just some of the power, I guess we'll call it, that this thing can do. This is to save you time. I don't have to watch this 8 minute and 20-second video. I can go and read these bullet points that it's generating on the fly, and it's even giving me timestamps. So if one of those bullet points is really important to me, prerequisites, for instance, I can go to 4 minutes and 58 seconds and watch that real fast. Uh, this is what Copilot does. But the Copilot that you have now, Microsoft Copilot, is grounded in the web. What that means is where it's going to be pulling information from and using as its database to give you answers. Uh, Microsoft 365 Copilot, so very similar name, but throw the 365 in the middle there. That's the one that you purchase and through your reseller, your agreement, and that is the one that allows you to use internal information, meaning create a PowerPoint presentation for me based off of this Word document that's stored in my OneDrive or in Teams. You can chat with it in Teams and ask it questions. You can use Microsoft 365 Chat, which is part of M365 Copilot, and ask it questions all about just about anything. Say, hey, what are all my meetings coming up today? And who are they with, and are there any action items or prep material that I should have ready for these meetings, and format it in a table. Right now it's become a digital assistant. Now it's letting you know what's coming for that day, or summarize this long chain of emails that I just received, so that I don't have to sit here and read the whole thing. Because again, the thing that Copilot is doing is getting you saving time. So lots of Copilot words being thrown around, but there's two main ones. Ignite had a lot of Copilot content, but the two main ones are Microsoft Copilot, available today in your browser, Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is the paid for application that you can use to access your internal documents. Your Copilot won't unmute you, Joe.
I could
You
I
still
could
got
use
to do
all those
that.
co-pilots at any time, I think. Take advantage of them. It's definitely been fun taking advantage of the one I have access to, which is the Microsoft Copilot, and
Yeah.
finding different ways to do that. And they're continuing to add features to that. The amount of l- prompt, the number of words you can submit into a prompt is increasing. Integrations with some image creation tools, DALL-E 3, a lot of features there that are coming, that are available to us just in that free service is pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at the next one we want to talk about, which is something we love to talk about because we can give tasks to people, assign tasks to people, and keep our life and our work on schedule. Is Planner is getting, um, I mean, it's been quite a while with Planner. It's been around, I think they said 2016, and it's really finally going to get its first major update, interface change, and some integrations with Project. Some parts of Microsoft Project are kind of getting blended into Planner. To do the To Do app, um, and your task management tool is all getting blended in, and getting it's not getting just a rebrand. We're getting some new tools and some new features on top of it, but they're all kind of getting folded up into the umbrella of Planner. I think we're still waiting for the completion in Microsoft Teams of our task management tool over there. I think it's still was it Task by Planner and To Do. I think eventually that's going to just probably flip back around to just Planner. We're going to see there. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
something that's pretty significant change. This is going to be taking place over the next probably 6 months before we see this fully fleshed out. I think the first changes are coming to Teams and then into the web.
Yeah, the Planner app in Teams is getting a really big overhaul, more than just a new name. And like Joe said, it's being everything's being collapsed into this planner brand, which I think is really good because it puts everybody on the same page, speaking the same language. We're going to be talking about a planner plan, and you're also going to have like on the screen there that's highlighted or was highlighted for a second was personal plans. That's a big deal. I think maybe to do is it's pretty good. I used to do a lot, but just putting everything in one place. I mean, that's kind of the point of teams, right? Is to put everything in one place and make it easy to work on and use. And so this planner app is going to contain to do. It contains to do tasks today. But what it's really going to do is move over into the project world as well. So your project, Microsoft project, is going to, I'm not exactly sure what the official rename is, but I've seen it being called Planner Premium or Planner and then Project in parentheses next to it. But the short story is you'll be able to access projects using the Planner app in Teams. And eventually everything will just be called Planner. I think that's a great idea. They also added in, or are in the process of adding in, an upgrade mechanism built right into that app. So if you started off with Microsoft Planner and you outgrow it. Maybe later you're like, we really need some of those more hardcore features for project management. There's going to be an upgrade mechanism built into it where you could upgrade that plan to a premium plan, and that would add all the features that usually come along with Microsoft Project. So this isn't a new license. This isn't a new bolt-on premium, feature. It's still based in what was called or what is called Microsoft Project, which gets you like that, whatever that is on the screen right now, stuff like that. And it's just a rename of it. And ultimately, it's more accessible and easier to use. So I'm pretty excited about this. Planner has always been one of the more popular tools when Joe and I would ever do any kind of training. We started joking around years ago that when we start teaching people about teams, we should just show them Planner first, because because we would do the teams training and get to Planner, and everybody would say like, okay, cool, we're in, we'll use it. We want to use Teams now just so that we can get to that thing that you showed us that lets us manage a project. We had no idea that there was such a void there for project management options. And so Planner filled that gap, but now I feel like it's going to do even better. It's going to give you just a lot more access to the tool.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some users excited to see this integration, especially with right now when someone needs a little bit extra than what planner has. Usually, it's around dependencies, and they want timelines, like we see right now. Um, Gantt charts, things like that. We usually move them into a Microsoft project license, project plan 3 or 5. But that usually is just enough to get them what they really like is because of the interface, is just much more modern compared to the older Microsoft project is project for the web. I think that's the pieces that I like to see kind of coming in and getting integrated into the new planner. So that will, like you said, Dwayne, is if you do need to make that transition, currently you would be switching out into basically a different app, a different website, different place to go if you needed to upgrade and move into a project. I think in the future here, if you need to do that, it's all going to be integrated and pretty seamless if you need to make that change. I dropped some links in there on Planner. Some of these, there's a few 25-minute video and there's a 5-minute video you can take a look at. And there's a few playlists here that cover the new experience that you can.
Yeah, the aka.ms/planner demo videos is probably my favorite because it gives you the YouTube playlist with all those little chunks of knowledge that you can look at. That's a really helpful one to kind of articulate like here's some of the new stuff and little chunks that you can watch real quick or have Copilot summarize for you. So,
And it looks like of course they're going to have some AI thrown in there
mhm.
coming to Planner like in the spring. And we've got some integrations with a product. I don't think we've talked much about it all, but Microsoft Loop, something I think we should get a chance to cover for these sessions.
Yeah, Loop is one of my favorites. Maybe in 2024 we dive into that with the group a little bit. All right, what we got next, Joe? We went planner. We talked about new teams. We talked about everything being called Copilot. What do we got? Town halls? Is that
Yep.
next?
I think we got town halls. Yep.
Okay. Okie dokie. So town halls is a let me pull the blog up for you. Never mind. Joe's got it pulled up. Of course, I should have known he already had it. uh, Town halls are a replacement for a existing option for a Teams meeting that goes to really, really big numbers. Right now, there's a feature, a meeting type, that, if you will, in Teams called a Teams live event. A Teams live event is a very large capacity, uh, one to many or a small group to many uh, presentation where you don't see your audience, you don't hear your audience, there's no chatting with your audience. There is a Q&A function built in so you can have a moderated way of accepting questions from the audience. The audience doesn't see each other. They have no idea that there's even other participants on the call. They're just consuming a live stream of your meeting. But Teams live events are kind of technical. The way that you actually execute a Teams live event is more like producing a TV show. You've got to have a script. Let's be real, a script is a good idea regardless. But in a Teams live event, it's really important because you have people who are playing the role of producer and they are deciding when people go on the screen. Uh, so that was kind of one, I don't want to call it a barrier, but it was a little bit of friction there with folks wanting to use live events because they're kind of complicated. They're technical. And you could also only put one person on camera at a time. But the capacity was amazing. The capacity is 10,000 users. So you could have a 10,000 seat webinar effectively using a Teams live event. The other thing that Teams Live Events offered that was really cool is live translated captioning. So you could let your participants pick from different languages that they wanted your voice to be translated into in the closed captioning on the fly. So that was really powerful. Well, we've announced town halls. Town halls is the evolution of Teams live events. It offers the same capacity. It offers the same capability to accept questions, but the audience not see each other. And yeah, Joe's got it highlighted there. The out of the box version of town halls that's included with your A3 and your A5 licensing is 10,000 seats. So every single person on this call that has an A3, if your admins allow you to schedule town halls, you can host a meeting up to 10,000 people and not have to buy any additional licensing. If you have a Teams premium license, then that capacity gets doubled to 20,000. I don't normally talk about licensing costs, but I feel like in this case, this is a really good time to bring up what the retail price of Teams Premium is for education, and it is $2 per person per month. And only the organizer would need to have a Teams Premium license. So if you were looking at a group of event coordinators or a dean or a VP or something that's hosting large events routinely, uh, give for $2 a month, they could host 20,000 seat meetings. That's kind of crazy. That's that's a lot. Premium also gives you a few more features. So the standard town hall will give you 6 languages. So you'll get English in addition to 5 more languages that people can choose from. Premium will give you 10. So there's a little bit more add on there. And they're really easy to run. The interface looks like a Teams meeting. It doesn't look scary. It looks like something, you would normally do in a Teams meeting. There's a chat built into it, which is only for you and your event crew. So the people that you have brought in as presenters, they're going to be able to chat with each other without being live in front of the audience, right? So Joe and I would always talk about that chat as like your walkie-talkie, like your earpiece that you're all talking to each other, making the event happen. You can use that chat live while it's running. Um, and you can put more than one person on the screen, like in the screenshot. I mean, it's the simple things in life that just make us so happy. If I've got two people interviewing each other, or a panel of some sort, I can bring them on stage. So you can see the gentleman down there at the bottom left corner of the screen, off stage. You right click on their profile or video feed, and you bring them on stage, and that will move them over into the main canvas area and where they're with the highlighted in red there, and that means the audience can see them. And you see that we've right clicked the person at the top right, and we can take them off the screen. So you can still move people around, and we call this managing what attendees can see. So you have that control, and you can put them next to the content that somebody is sharing as you're going through the slides. One caveat here is PowerPoint Live in Teams doesn't work at this scale. So you would still have to share your screen or share a particular window. So those are the two options that are available to presenters. And one of my favorite parts about this is recently they added the ability to specify an external presenter. So how often does that happen in education? How often are you bringing in an industry expert or somebody from another university or a grower, right, is coming to give a presentation to an audience of agents or students? So you can specify the email address of a person who you've deemed an external presenter, and the town hall will send that person their own unique meeting link. And when they click on that meeting link, it brings them right into the meeting as a presenter. They bypass the lobby. They come in with presenter rights right out of the gate. You don't have to hunt for them in the list or try to ring them in or anything like that. It just works, and I've done it, and it makes life a lot easier. So all you need is their email address. The recordings, Joe's scrolling through the recordings part now. Live event recordings were a little different. The way that you would go back and rewatch a Microsoft Teams live event was you would just click the same link that you used to join the event. After the event was over, it would just replay the event, which is pretty handy. I thought pretty cool. But people, I don't know, it was kind of a hang up a lot of times. People didn't realize that that was how it worked. We're more accustomed to when do I get access to the recording? So a town hall, being that it operates like a meeting, it will be recorded automatically, and the recording is going to live in the organizer's OneDrive. You can then publish the recording directly from the manage event interface in your team's calendar, and you can decide when you want to make that recording available and push it out to everybody who attended. So you'll have really easy to use automated options built right into the control panel there. And there's also an opportunity to do some branding. So when they get that email with the link to the recording, you can have your logo on it. You can have a color scheme how you want it. Some branding for that particular event included in that process. And you can also tweak the emails. So this screen here showing the actions that you can do. You can tweak how the emails look, and maybe reword some stuff, or again add hyperlinks to your own resources. Those kinds of things are as possible as well. So overall, really, really powerful new option. It is already live. Joe, you're already seeing it in your education environment, right?
Yes, yep, seen it now. So
Yeah.
looking to use it.
So it's already rolled out. Chances are, if you go into your team's calendar and up at the top right corner where it says new meeting, if you click that little drop down arrow that's right next to it, you might see town halls listed there. Um, I've tested it a bunch. Yeah, there we go. Joe's showing it. So town hall listed there. I've tested it a bunch. It works great for people who are inside or outside of your organization. The Q&A app that's built into it is a lot better than the one that was built into a Teams live event. It has more, people can react, people can respond to questions, which is pretty nice. Then you can, again, moderate that if you need to. You can decide if you want questions to be published automatically, or do you want someone in your event crew to like kind of gatekeep that. And if it's not an appropriate question, dismiss it. So those options are there. Q&A works for people or Teams live. Can't use my words right now. Town halls with Q&A work for people who don't even have a Teams account. So if they get their information on click here to watch my presentation and they decide they just want to watch it in a web browser, that will work even if they don't have an account. They'll just be prompted to punch in a name, and they have access to the event if you've decided to make it public. The one thing that in the scenario where that doesn't work, which is normal, is on a mobile device. So if you're joining from an iPhone or an Android phone, you would need to have the Teams app installed to do that. But that lines up with several other experiences from other products and stuff. So it's not real. I don't think that that's a big. I don't think that's a big deal. So that's pretty normal these days, is what I'm saying. Yeah, so Joe's going through the kind of interface here of what you would see if you were setting up a town hall. You're going to see the ability to define other co-organizers. You're also going to see that button there that says add external presenters. That's the magical button that I was talking about that I feel like makes this product so cool. Is you just punch in the email address of, Dr. Whoever from whatever.edu that's going to come in and be a guest speaker, and all they have to do is click the link. Joe, how many times have we heard, where's the meeting link? We've heard it so many times we made it was a joke. Where's the meeting link? So in this case, all they need to do is click that link and they will come into your town hall with all the necessary permissions and rights right out of the gate. So
They'll come right into
really easy.
they'll come right into the green room then. This new
Yes. Yep.
concept of a kind of a
Mhm.
protected space before the meeting goes live.
Yeah, the green room is a part of Teams webinars. It was previously a Teams premium feature, but that's been opened up to all Teams users can have the option to configure a green room on a webinar, and it works in town halls automatically. But the green room is a little space that you all jump into prior to actually starting the event. So before if people are clicking on the event early, they're not just waiting in a lobby. They're actually going to get a notice that says this event hasn't started yet. When you are in the green room, that gives you an opportunity to have your speakers, your presenters come on camera, turn their microphone on, share their screen real quick. You make sure they're comfortable, give them any last minute updates on how the event is going to work and flow. And then from within the green room, you click start and boom, it starts streaming. Everybody starts seeing what you're putting down. So pretty cool. I think that this is an incredible tool to have in your toolbox, and just the sheer capacity of this thing is mind blowing. And there are like, if you have an event where you're like, Dwayne, I got an event with 60,000 people, what do I do? Number one, you call me, and because I want to hear about it. That's awesome. But number two, there is a program that Microsoft offers for helping you facilitate and run very large events. It's called the Live Event Assistant Program, or LEAP. So the LEAP team can help you pull that off. They will work with you to make that happen. So pretty powerful stuff, I think. But I'm excited about this one. I think just saying out loud, every single person in your university with an A3 at a minimum has a way to schedule a town hall that holds 10,000 people. They don't have to go sign up. It's literally built into the app that's already running on their computer. I mean, the only thing they're missing is the knowledge on how to do it. And so that's where all of you come in, right? You help spread the word and tell people like, hey, yeah, you don't have to go buy expensive software. Like you're 3 clicks away from from doing it. So pretty cool stuff. But
Yeah, Dwayne, I think some of our large events, we had a script for the live events where we had, I think, 60 camera changes. Um, it's it's an endeavor to run a 3 or 4 hour live event with a lot of people coming up on the virtual stage. So
yeah,
I definitely would be looking forward to using the new town hall technique to
yeah, live
overcome a
events
lot of
could
that.
definitely be intimidating. And this is way more familiar. Running it just like a meeting, you know, just with some added bells and whistles and features. So can you see other participants in a town hall? Question in the chat. No. The attendees have no visibility into other attendees. They don't see any kind of participants pane at all. But the presenters who are all presenting as a group, maybe there's 12 of you that are running this event, you will see each other. You'll know what other presenters are there, but the attendees don't see anything. That was a big checkbox in the win column for Teams live events that Joe and I would have as part of our questioning on like, let's figure out what the right product for you is. And if they said, well, this is sensitive, maybe it's marriage counseling or something like that, that, you know, Joe and I worked with a group at UF that run a program called Smart Couples. Uh, you don't want to see everybody else's name that's on there. What if it's your neighbor, you know, or something like that, you know, or you recognize somebody, you know, that's kind of weird. So attendee masking is included in a town hall.
How about I think on a mobile device is important to talk about. You still do need the Teams app if
Mhm.
you're gonna you access this on a mobile device, but you don't need an account. You just need the app. I think that's what I've seen pretty common in this kind of webinar space with some other products. On mobile, you will need to help your users make sure they've got the app installed. But like Dwayne said, there's not an account required.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up our Ignite updates. Those were our 4 or 5.5 biggest ones. Planner, huge news there. Town halls, super powerful. New Teams is coming. Buckle up if you're not using it already. You got to get ready for this. March 31st, everybody's being moved over to it, regardless of what the admin settings are set up for. And there's a lot of things called Copilot now, but you all have Microsoft Copilot with your A3 and A5 faculty licensing, and Microsoft 365 Copilot is the big one that you can use to work with internal data inside of your organization. And so that's the quick summary. But I'm going to kill the recording because I want us to have a powwow and talk about some options for how we meet in 2024. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the recording off. We'll spend the last few minutes doing that. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.